Alright, part 2 of JC the Sniper's video on improvised weapons and self-defense mindset of ingenuity. So anyway, chain and a lock can make quite a formidable weapon. You can get that thing tied around your hand and have 6 inches of chain to swing and a lock on the end of it, and you could really do some severe damage with that. It's not elegant, again, it's not as powerful as a firearm, or maybe not as powerful as a police baton, but basically it serves the same purpose as a police baton. You've got a medieval flail here that you can hit somebody with, and in a bad situation that could save your life. And if you need it for, it's inconspicuous. If you're riding around town somewhere where weapons are prohibited, if you're in the UK and you can't carry a firearm, you can carry a lock and a chain. At least as far as I know. I don't think they're barring people from carrying locks and chains yet. It may be coming, but I don't think yet. So, or, say you're not old enough. If you're 18 and you're not allowed to have a carry permit until you're 21 wherever you live, you could have something like this on you. Particularly if you're riding around town on a bike. This is not going to arouse suspicion. And if you get jumped in a parking lot, you could use this. Similar concept, keys on a lanyard. You could take this, a set of keys that you've got here on a lanyard, wrap this lanyard around your hand, and use those keys as a flail. It's not very heavy, and it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but if you had a set of keys like this and got them wrapped around your hand nice and tight, and just one or two people is attacking you and hit them with that thing, you could do some damage depending on how heavy your keys are. And this isn't going to necessarily incapacitate your attackers, but it can help you inflict more damage, particularly if you're a small person, because you may be too small to do any damage with your fists. But if you have something like this, it's a force multiplier, because you can get that thing swinging fast, and you can do just as much damage with these as a bigger person can. So, you may use something like your keys as a weapon, even if it's just to beat the person in the face and turn tail and run. Hit somebody in the face with them hard enough that you make their eyes water, you make their nose bleed, you cut their face open, and then you take off running as fast as you can and get away from there. And some other fun things, flashlight. A flashlight can approximate something like a Kubaton. However, Kubatons are really cool because Kubatons are not classified as weapons in any of the 50 states, which basically means you can carry a Kubaton almost anywhere. Also, Kubatons, particularly like this one, is made of wood. Many are made of plastic, some are made of various metals. However, a Kubaton is generally undetectable by a metal detector, which means I can put this in my pocket or in my luggage, perhaps in a carry-on bag, in a bag going to school. It doesn't really arouse suspicion because it's just a little, a little shaped piece of wood. Or the plastic ones often have a key ring, so it's a key ring. And you can carry it just about anywhere. And then you can turn this into a striking device, and you can get a lot more force with that than you can with your knuckles. Once again, it gives you a good striking edge. I've got grooves in mine to give me a good grip, and you can do some serious damage with the Kubaton. If you can't carry a Kubaton, or you don't feel like carrying a Kubaton, or perhaps you're somewhere, I don't know where, that won't let you, you could have something like a flashlight. A mag light is not suspicious at all. I've got tape on here because I like to use it as a tape roll. However, if I needed to use this, I could take this and use it as a Kubaton. It's not quite as pointed, and it doesn't grip quite as well, but it grips fairly well, and I could use that as a striking device. Basically a Kubaton. It's just a flashlight, and that would work fairly well to hit somebody with, and could do some significant damage. Definitely a force multiplier, going to make a weaker person and take a weaker person and enable them to do more damage than they would be with only their hand. And once again, you can do a lot of damage with this, even if you're small. So that could be helpful for you. And another thing, which is cool, which I've recently started making, are things like this. You probably don't recognize these because I've made them all, and as far as I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I know people make things similarly, but not quite like this. And I got this idea from one of my buddies. He's on YouTube here, and I actually happen to know him in real life. Elemental52 is his YouTube channel, and I'll probably link to it in the description. But he makes actual brass knuckles, you know, real ones. Of course, you can't carry them because they're illegal pretty much everywhere. But he just makes them for fun. It's kind of a hobby. So I thought, you know, I could make some out of wood because they're legal, and you know, they don't necessarily attract attention. They don't look like brass knuckles. You know, this doesn't really look like anything except a piece of wood. However, you can see that I've designed this to fit in my palm like brass knuckles. Has finger loops. This is a 2-finger design, and you can hold that pretty securely, and all of a sudden you have, you know, a pretty vicious punching device here to deliver some pretty significant force with. And this 2-finger one is kind of big, but these 1-finger ones, which actually I like better, are pretty cool, because you can still hold that real well, and that gives you a nice hard striking surface with very little surface area to concentrate your blow into, and it's easily concealable. It's undetectable by a metal detector. It doesn't look conspicuous in a pocket. If it even shows, it just doesn't really look like anything. If somebody actually sees it, they're gonna look at that and be like, what the heck is this thing? Like, what do you do with it, you know? Nobody's gonna automatically assume this is to hit people with. I mean, this, for all they know, could be a candle holder or a flashlight holder. I'm just gonna stick my flashlight here. You know, whatever. It doesn't look like an improvised defensive tool, but that's what it is. You can take this, use it to hit someone with, and deliver a lot more force than you could with your knuckles. And once again, you're going to place that in your palm, finger through it to support it, and then your palm is taking the blow straight through the device, through your palm, and straight into your wrist, so that you have a nice forceful strike with that, and it's going to do a significant amount of damage. Get one on each hand, go to town on somebody. So these, if you're, you know, if you have, it's not really hard to make something like this. I made these in about, 20 or 30 minutes a piece. With, I have a set of tools out in the garage that my family owns, and reasonable woodworking skills, so it wasn't a problem for me. But anyway, these are just some ideas for self-defensive